Welcome to the Green Table Talk. I am your host, Janine Johnson.
She's going to do something, she's going to do it. So she's a really self-driven person and got a heart of gold.
In this episode of the Green Table Talk, I'll be speaking with Kim in the third of a three-part series exploring transplant from a mother's point of view. Today, we are sitting with an amazing woman. Her name is Kim. Kim, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I brought you on the show because we're doing a three-part episode on mothers and transplant from a mother's point of view, from the eyes of a mother. And so now I know your amazing daughter, Candice. She had a kidney transplant. I've had her as a guest previously on the show. Amazing young woman, amazing human being, such a bright spirit. And this is all still taking place. She's this amazing woman, and we know her because of you and the generous, loving donation you've done for your daughter, right?
And she is amazing.
Yes, she is. And she has a beautiful baby daughter as well. Congratulations, by the way, on your granddaughter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So before we dive into the story, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell our audience a bit about yourself, what you like to do, any hobbies. Let us know more about Kim.
Well, I have lots of hobbies. I love to play baseball. And my husband and I are just going to start learning pickleball soon. We decided to take up a new sport. So, we like to keep active. I love to play with Clementine, and I've got great nieces and nephews that I love to hang out with too. I'm a Reiki master, so I like to inspire people and, do group events and things like that. I love attending self-improvement events, things like that. I'm pretty oriented to family. So I love to host the family over here. We usually have 20 to 25 people over and just have a great time. So we love to do that too, have fires outside and, just lots of fun with the people we love.
Beautiful. And family's important. So that's an amazing thing. And explain, what is a Reiki master?
It's energy healing. You balance someone's chakras, and it's a session that you do with somebody, and it's very calming and beautiful. And so I do a little bit of that on the side as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I never knew that's what it was. That's what it's called. Yeah. See, you learn something new each day. Okay. So tell me, when you found out about Candice, actually tell me more about Candice. What type of young lady she was in her teens, and was she just bubbly, or just give me a little background of Candice as well?
Candice has been a go-getter since the moment she was born.
Yes.
Just a very positive person. She's always been, somebody who is in so many different groups. She has a lot of friends and she inspires people. She's always been like that. Very perfectionist. She was valedictorian in grade 8. Like, she works really hard. If she's going to do something, she's going to do it. So she's a really self-driven person and got a heart of gold. Do anything for anybody. Loves to bake, loves her daughter so much, and her husband and her whole family. Mm-hmm. She's just incredible. I know it's probably hard for her to hear all the stories for people because she can personally empathize with them, but she loves what she does because she's inspiring other people through her story and supporting them. And she's just a crackerjack. She's always been like this.
That's amazing. And she's still she still continues. When I met her, she was the same way. You know what I mean? So that's obviously something that's went through.
Yeah, little Energizer bunny. She's always been. she's usually got about 100 things on the go.
Yes. Yeah. She's a multitasker as well, right? Excellent. Yeah. So take me back to when things seemed a little bit off to you in terms of Candice and her health. Because like you said, she's always, she's a go-getter, full of energy. So what seemed a little bit off to you about Candice?
It had been probably a couple years at least that she kept getting sick and just had things wrong with her over and over and over again. And she was away at university, and she'd been to Africa, and then she went back to university, and she was just weak. And I noticed even her bones were shrinking. I knew there was something very wrong with her, and we sent her to the doctor over and over. And finally, she was really sick the weekend before, and I said to her, you have to go she had a lot of weight loss, and she was really tired a lot. She was, she was a university student, and she had a job as well. So some of it could have been written off as, she's overdoing it like she always does. But she seemed to be just shrinking. Even her bones were shrinking. I knew in my gut something was really wrong. And she'd been to we'd taken her to the doctor for a lot of different things each time she got. And finally one weekend she was so ill, and we said, you have to get tested this week. You have to get your blood tested. And they tested her on the Monday, and I think the Tuesday in the middle of the night. So around 2:30 in the morning, we got a phone call saying, is Candice there? And I said, well, she's sleeping. And they said it was Grand River Hospital, and you have to get her in right away. She could die in her sleep. That her creatinine was over 1,000, which I didn't even know what that was.
Yes. Yeah.
I went to wake her, and she said, Mom, I'm too tired. I'll go tomorrow. And I said, no, we have to go now. Okay. So didn't really know what was happening. And when we got her in there, they had to put fluids in her. She needed a lot. She needed electrolytes. She needed a lot of help that night. And we didn't really know if her kidneys would kick back in or what was happening. And it took a couple of days, and then they talked to us and said she needed to start dialysis immediately. So they put a shunt in her neck, and it went from there. Yeah.
So when you got this phone call telling you that you have to bring your daughter in, and they were being honest with you, she might die in her sleep. At that point, first of all, what's going through your mind? And secondly, did different illnesses or sicknesses come to your mind? Did you try to figure out what's going on yourself, or were you just shocked and you're like, you know what, we got to get out of here? Like, tell me what was going through your mind at that time.
Just went into action. Like, let's go, we've got to get there now, see what's going on. Yeah. And I did, leading up, that we had done the blood work. So I wasn't sure, what we would problem. I certainly wasn't expecting a phone call like that. No, of course not. And that's like, shock. Yeah. Wow. No parent wants to hear that. You know what I mean? No. Wow. No. And my husband and I took her that night, and we were very worried. So it was rough. So you go into the hospital, they say, you know what, her kidney's failing, essentially. Was it both, or was it just one? Oh no, they were both gone. Wow. Gone. Like, they were both shut right down, and you needed dialysis immediately. There was nothing left of them. When they went, did you know anything about the kidney disease at this point? Did you know anybody in your family or friends that went through something similar? Actually, my husband's mom had a kidney transplant and had kidney disease, and so did his uncle. So the two siblings from his grandma both had kidney disease. So you have some sort of knowledge at this point then? Some, but I didn't. We were really young. Like, Chris and I have been together since we were 16. So we were really young when she was going through all that, when Chris's mom was going through all that. So I didn't know what the word creatinine meant. And I didn't quite understand. Like, when they said her kidneys, I thought, I was just devastated. But of course, I mean, she was in the right place. They were amazing. They were so good. Yeah. That's good. And I'm sure it's scary. I'm sure it was very scary for you and the family. I was more worried about her. Like, she was so sick and so scared, and I just went into mom mode, and there was, and I'm a crier, and there was we had to know what was going on. So you're just that mama bear, just ready to go into action. Right? Yeah. Go into a different space when you have to. Yeah. So did the doctors talk to you about, at that point, living organ donor or putting her on the deceased donor list? Like, what was the conversation like with the doctors? They hadn't. We were just kind of in emergency mode. They hadn't talked about transplant yet or anything. They hadn't talked about, in the first couple of days, they didn't even talk about dialysis. They told us that a couple of days later. They just were trying to get fluids back in and get her get her body a little more stable. And then the doctor came in and said about dialysis, and that there was, I don't think there was talk about transplant for a few days. And as soon as we knew about that, I was determined that it was me. I was born for this, and it was going to be me.
So no thought of anybody else. Nobody had a chance to donate. Nobody had a chance.
No,
you brought her into this world and you're going to save her in this world, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So what was the process like? So you told them, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get tested. I know I'm going to be the donor. So let's get this started. So what did they do at this point?
We were St. Joe's in Hamilton. So the transplant coordinator arranged for quite a few testing days. And I had 2 gift shops at the time. So I had them arrange a lot of tests back to back each time I went.
Okay.
So that I could really bang them out. And we were really lucky because in my gut, I knew that everything was going to be fine.
Yes.
And it was my attitude. If someone said, you better prepare yourself in case, I was like, don't talk to me about that. It's going to work. And I know it is. That's it. I don't want to hear the other. So
be positive about it. You can't let in any negative thought process at this point, right?
No. And so there was a lot of testing that happened. It's a lot of years ago, so I can't remember exactly what they did. A lot.
But it was a lot of tests.
Yeah, it was very interesting and, nothing too difficult. Just, it was what I had to do to go through the process. Just time we would hope and hope and hope that we went through another phase, which we did.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Kept going. And it was under a year to transplant. So we were really lucky.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So talk to me about transplant day. So I know that, hearing from Candice, she told me how she felt it's the day of transplant and what was going through her mind. What was going through your mind at this process, at this point in time?
Well, I was very grateful that the 2 of us were going in because it was kind of threatened in the summer. I had extremely low hemoglobin. So they'd given us a date of 09/09/09 at 9.
Wow.
And it meant the world to Candice and I. And when I went for another part of my testing near the end, they called me. Candice and I were in a hotel in Toronto. We'd gone to the Beyonce concert.
Oh.
And we brought a gas can and her dialysis machine and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the call in the morning and they said that might not be your date because your hemoglobin's so low you can't get the kidney right now. And no, I'll get up, whatever I have to do, that you keep that date because we're going to make that. I'll eat whatever I have to. I'll take whatever I have to. We're keeping it means everything to us. So they allowed me to work myself up and the hemoglobin went up enough for me to do it on that day, which was amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then the day of, the funny thing is most people give their left kidney because it's away from all the organs. Mine had too many veins and arteries going to it, so they had to do the right kidney.
Oh, okay.
A perfect plucker. Like there was only a little bit going to it, so it was almost like it was made for transplant.
Wow.
It's really cool. Yeah.
You were ready for this.
Yeah, I would say the day of, I was scared, but more scared that I wanted to make sure she was okay when we woke up, that it had worked. And I will admit that day I wasn't like 1000% positive. I was a little bit like, what if we did all this and she's not okay? So I prayed and did a lot of, positive thinking and just thought, we've gotten this far. It's going to work. It's going to be great. Yeah, it was a little scary, but I just wanted to make sure that it worked.
Yes. And what was your husband thinking at this point? I mean, his daughter and his wife in surgery at the same time. Yeah. What's going through his mind? How is he feeling?
And my son. So Christopher.
Yes, that's right.
But what was Chris? He was about 20, probably 20 or 21 at the time. He was 21. And my husband and him and our whole family went. And friends went as well. And they were all in the waiting room. And my husband was very worried. It was a really hard day. It was a hard time up even with both of us because he was scared. Obviously, he could lose one of us.
Yes.
And Christopher was worried too. Well, everybody was. And then I guess when they came out and said both times that it was a success, like they got mine out great, and then went in, Candice was great. they said it was like a football game. Everybody went, yeah. So there was, I think,
Touchdown.
like 20 people in the waiting room. It was crazy. Yeah, we have a big family.
That's good. Support is so important through going through a journey like this. Extremely important. So that's good that you had literally, you know, like a football team waiting for you there in the waiting room, just praying for you guys. So that's amazing.
It was.
That's amazing. So tell me about recovery now. So you're the mom, you just gave your kidney to your daughter. And as a mom, it's usually kind of like an innate thing that you want to help your child, but now you're down, you're out recovering. Candice is down and out, she's recovering. Tell me about your recovery, the recovery period for yourself.
Took the big surgery.
Okay.
So here down to there. So it was quite sore.
Mm-hmm.
And when the staples came out, I don't know whether they came out wrong or what, but I had a big reaction and I had like nothing even touch my stomach for a few days. So I had to walk around the raw. It was sore, but worth every bit.
Of course.
I know lots of people can do it laparoscopically. That's definitely the best way to go. But do it again in a heartbeat. It wasn't that bad. I mean, I've given birth to 2 kids, so it was
it's a walk in the park, really.
I'd say it was just very rewarding. I think a lot of adrenaline goes through you, so you're so pumped that everything worked out that I don't think obviously the first couple of days I was out of it, but after that, we handled it. I didn't the rest time I was supposed to, I'll tell you, but I knew I wasn't going to do that.
And that's that's just the way we're made, though, Kim. We're made that way, right? Yeah. That's what we do. Like, even if being a mother, that's like to another level. But as a woman, that's what we do. We're always multitasking. We're always juggling 2, 3, 4 things at a time, right? So
I was up doing stuff pretty quick. I highly recommend Transplant to people.
That was my next question. I was just going to ask you that. Like, if someone comes up to you and says, would you recommend Transplant, or what would you say to someone to encourage someone in terms of donating? What would you say to this person?
I'd say spiritually, your life will never be the same. Because it's almost a gift to you that you do that. It's
exactly
very humbling. And, just to see that Candice can travel again, and she's been able to go so many places and have a beautiful little girl, which we never thought she could do that. So that told her that wasn't an option. And then for it to, like, a miracle happened. So we're very fortunate. I would tell anybody that was going to give an organ or a kidney or a liver, I would say it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. And it takes a little time to do the testing and stuff, but afterwards you're a little sore from any surgery. And then you've done something so wonderful for somebody else that you're just different after. It's unexplainable. It's very beautiful.
See, I couldn't have said it better myself. That is so true. Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's very rewarding.
So everything worked out perfectly for the 2 of you. I want to know from you, since everything worked out so perfectly, like there was only one donor. I mean, you put it out to the universe, I'm going to donate to Candice. There was no need for anybody else to get tested because you knew you wanted this date. The doctors, the hospital said, I don't think so. Your hemoglobin's low, etc. You're like, nope, this is our date. Hold it. We're going to come back for this date. Everything worked out perfectly for you. Perfect. Do you feel there's a higher power? Do you think it was God at play? Do you feel it was a higher power at play? Or you just think, no, it was just all a coincidence. It just so happened to fall into place. And that was it.
No, I believe definitely in something more. Yeah, definitely. We were very, very lucky. And I think we had a lot of people's prayers on our side. That's for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah. Because whenever I see something like that, I always have to ask, because it didn't have to be that perfect, right? Let's be honest. There could have been, you couldn't have been a match. Then what? So now you have to reach out to others and hope and pray that there's a match will be found out there. But everything just worked out so smoothly for you, right?
Yeah, a really good match too. Yeah, we were a very good match. So, we're very grateful for really the gift we've been both given.
Yes.
Whole family and Candice, right?
Mm-hmm. And everybody's like very grateful for what you've done, right?
Yeah, Candice, right? That was hard to see her on machines for a year, and
yeah,
you know, she was so young. She was 20 when she got put in the hospital. So that's young. That's a young girl. That's hard.
It is.
So no, I definitely am very grateful for a higher power for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I am very grateful that you were a match. I'm extremely grateful to know Candice and yourself. You're a beautiful human being, both you and Candice. And your granddaughter as well. I've seen her several times, and she's very outgoing and bubbly, and you're just a beautiful family. Just a beautiful, strong family all around. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And of course, just saying it as is, just, you know, speaking the truth.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I usually share a little nugget of knowledge to the audience, to everyone that's watching this episode. And today's nugget of knowledge is a mother's love is unwavering. And that is what defines you, because you did not accept no for an answer. You did not, it was just nothing. You already knew where you were going for, you knew the goal, you just powered through everything. And that is the epitome of an unwavering love. And so thank you very much for everything that you've done and everything you continue to do. And I just wish you and your family all the best.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of course. And thank you for being on the show.
I wish you all the best with your show too. You're doing really wonderful things.
Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching the Green Table Talk. And we'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.